Welcome to Indian Medical Council Research Online Prescription Skill Course 2020, and this is for Indian medical graduate. And once you watch this video, you can answer 5 MCQ multiple choice question on this video, and you can also give the feedback. And what you can find is you have an assignment section and you can also give the feedback. I am Professor Vikas Medi. I am going to talk about the module's route of drug administration. So, coming to the module's formulation and appropriate route of administration, this is from PGI Chandigarh. Now, if you look at that learning objective, what Indian medical graduate after watching the video, they should able to answer that state of different type of drug administration, what are the different route of drug administration, how to select the formulation for appropriate route of administration, and along with that you need to also able to identify the different factor why you are selecting a particular route of drug administration, and at the same time you need to understand that how do you say the generic, why you prefer generic over branded drug, that need to be identified. Now, as I said that this topic is a basic and very important topic, and also if you look at the recommendation from MCI, there is a priorities list. So, I will be covering the introduction with formulation, how do you define a formulation, and also appropriate route of drug administration. There are certain points you have to also follow, and there are certain points you have to also avoid, and these all are supported with case studies with how you make a diagnosis, how do you select a particular treatment with algorithm and along with patient video, and ultimately you will have a take home message and supported by reference material. Now, let us look at that why this topic is so important, because the knowledge of different type of formulation which will help the prescribing them appropriately. You need to justify that why you are prepared to write this drug appropriately, along with understanding of concept of selecting the appropriate route of administration. As you know that today's we look at targeted drug delivery system, and also finally that lot of discussion on generic versus branded, how it is going to have in terms of affordability or beneficial for the poor patient, that also we will discuss with this topic. Now, if you look at that recommendation from MCI 2018, they talk about topic related to competency of expected Indian medical graduate. Now, here topic for pharmacology, medicine and the public health, they wanted to know that IMG, that Indian medical graduate should know the route of drug administration about oral or subcutaneous or IV or IM, or you talk about any of the route, and also nomenclature of the drug, how do you put it as generic and branded, and criteria for writing a generic over branded, and also appropriate route of formulation for individual patient. We now talk about individualized therapy, particularly when you talk about special population like children, elderly or pregnant women, or patient who have the problem with hepatic and renal dysfunction. Now, this also have a communication that when you write the prescription, you need to communicate to the patient. At the same time, you identify the drug formulation with different drug delivery systems, specialized one. Now, it is important to know that when you write the prescription about pharmacology administration, at that same time, what are the adverse drug reaction or ADR with pharmacotherapy in various classes. All is given by MCI in 2018 as a priorities for this module. Now, Indian medical graduate also should know the state of criteria for writing generic branded over a period of time, which is repeatedly it is very important, and with formulation of individual patient like I already said children, elderly or patient with hepatorenal dysfunction. One need to also understand the basic drug administration and objective of selecting the route of administration and criteria for different route, like we already mentioned oral or different parenteral formulation, administration, and also you need to look at that recent advances of drug delivery system. There are a lot of new therapeutic area has come, you need to look at that also. Now coming to the basic point that how do you define a formulation? When you talk about formulation, it means that recipe of preparing a drug in a particular dosage form. So look at the pharmaceutical formulation, it's basically a process of different chemical substances including active drug and are combined to produce a final pharmaceutical product or medicinal product. So formulation means it include the dosage form that you dispense to the patient. Now coming to the choice of formulation, there are a lot of criteria you need to look at. Why you select a particular formulation? You have to look at what are the condition of the patient, what desired effect you wanted to give or requirement of the dosage, or how long you wanted to give this particular effect to be last long, and also you need to also know the properties of medication or medication. So when you talk about the pre-formulation, the characteristics are drug depend on, like you look at the physical properties, or you need to also know that chemical properties and mechanical properties. So there are different criteria to in order to select a particular formulation. Now look at in detail, you have a dosage form, different dosage form. You take an example of solid dosage form or liquid dosage form, or you use internally or externally. So you can take an example of solid dosage form like with powder, granule, tablet, there are different formulation. Similarly, liquid dosage form, you start with syrup, any of the liquid or suspension, or you talk about eye drop, or externally used we have a lotion or plaster gels or patches, adhesive patches. Similarly, what you have to need to know in detail, because there are lot of different targeted delivery system which is specialized, like you give it in the eyes, occlusal or liposomal preparation, you talk about different pump which have a control release preparation. So as you can see that internal and external, solid or liquid or external or specialized delivery, you need to look at that. Now coming to the criteria, that route of drug administration, how do you select? When you select a particular route of drug administration, you need to know that you talk about delivery of target site, what target organ you are looking at, then intended for clinical use. So it is depend on, you look at the nature of the disease and also type of pharmaceutical formulation. But at the same time, you need to also see that what is the bioavailability of the drug, that also it depends that you select for a particular route of administration. Now in order to more clear view, you can see that different route of drug administration. With the figure, if you see that we have an enteral route, commonly you give orally, or if you want to bypass or faster action you will give sublingual, but in case of a pediatric we also prefer to give rectal. Similarly, in case of emergency situation that you wanted to give parenteral route, like you have an injection or you have an inhalation or transdermal administration. Then topical, you have a typical of dermal application, or you want to put in conjunctiva or nasal or in vaginal or urethral. So there are different type of drug administration that you select depending on patient criteria, situation, and what appropriate you need to be put it. Now coming to more common enteral route which we prefer to give orally. So drug is directly placed in GIT, enteral tract, because it is safe, because it is more convenient, or it is economical also. But only thing is that it pass through the fast pass metabolism, or there could be erratic bioavailability, because there could be drug-drug interaction, there could be drug-food interaction, or other factors are very important. Some are irritant to the gastric mucosa, or maybe you have to tell the patient if it is more frequently, compliance is the issue, or in case of a unconscious patient or emergency situation, you cannot give orally and wait for the action, you have to go for parenteral one. Now look at the parenteral, other than enteral is parenteral, means para means outside or enteral usually we mean intestine. So, it bypasses the alimentary canal. So, you take an example of intramuscular, which you give almost 90 degree. Subcutaneous, you put into the subcutaneous tissue, you give 45 degrees centigrade, or intravenously directly into the vein or intradermal. So, these are example. Once you see the figure, you will understand how to inject. You need to develop the skill for giving the parenteral route. Now, when you compare the advantage and limitation with intravenous route, as you know that in case of emergency, because you want to avoid a fast pass metabolism, you want to make the drug is available to the patient 100% bioavailability. So, it is suitable for emergency condition or it is unconscious, and also you can give large quantity of medicine through intravenous route. However, limitation you talk about, if it is not skill, there could be thrombophlebitis, or if it is irritant to the vein, or it is leprosy, like it can cause embolism. So, it is not convenient also because painful, people do not like to take injection. So, repeated injection may not be feasible if its pain is not traceable. So, there are some technical issue, but however, it has an advantage in case of emergency situation, and when you want to make that drug is 100% bioavailable. Looking at the intramuscular injection, usually given in deltoid or in the gluteus maximus, or it is given in the lateral part of thigh. So, it is rapidly absorbed, and you prefer to give the drug which is soluble in aqueous solubility, and it has also repository or slow release preparation can be given. So, only thing is a pain at the injection site, or also you need to look at is there any reaction to the injection site of injection. Similarly, subcutaneous injection, it is given a constant observation and can be given to the patient, like for example, we have a insulin. So, absorption is limited to the blood flow. So, there is a concurrent administration, you can give a vasoconstrictor, suppose you want to have a local effect, and maximum 2 ml can be given with subcutaneous, you can take that figure. Now, some of this situation like you give an intra-articular injection, where you know that there is inflammation, where you have to give osteoarthritis, for example, you wanted to put it in knee joint like hydrocortisone or corticosteroid, and intradermal injection you give in a skin layer, like for example, we go for a skin testing, take an example of penicillin. So, or vaccine administration, we can go for a intradermal injection. Now, in order to make you more understand, let us discuss some of the case studies. Like this is a one case of 5 years old child brought to the hospital. What are the complaint? Complaint with fever, repeated cough, and patient also has difficulty in breathing. So, when it was examined, it was found that child is dull and irritable, and pulse is very high, 120 per minute. Similarly, respiratory rate is also high, 57 per minute, and body temperature when it checked, it was high, 102 degree temperature, and patient is having a problem with inspiration, wheezing and crepitation on examination. So, when you make a potential provisional diagnosis, it was found probably it is pneumonia. So, the investigation was sent hematological and bacteriological, and still we are waiting. But here if you look at the question here, if you ask looking at this detail of the patient, which route of administration will be more appropriate, because that patient is already irritable or having lot of problem. So, you cannot think of giving orally. Second thing is, should the doctor wait for because that provisional diagnosis pneumonia, you have to give antibiotic, should you wait for laboratory report. So, coming to the explanation, as already said, that seriously ill child, so you need to put the treatment at the earliest, and you select that parenteral one is the best option, because you cannot go for oral dosing, and antibiotic need to be done IV line. So, preferably empirical antibiotic you start with ceftriaxone. So, later on you can wait, once the report come appropriately it can be managed. But here the point here that you have to select that IV line and immediately treatment has to be given. Some of this route like inhalational route, where drug is fine particle is given, which is liquid and solid and aerosol, and it is rapidly absorbed from the lung surfaces. Like your example of bronchodilator you give, or systemic example like general anesthesia. Absorption is very fast. Bioavailability is depend on particular inhalation technique. Of course, it is more successful in terms of that it is very useful inhalation route. Now, another route is topical route of administration, like it is locally at the site of treated. So, you give it in the mucous membrane and skin. So, you want to avoid the fast metabolism, and here the point is drug must be patent in case of topical route of administration. So, altogether if you look at that, when you see all the information, not all the single method of the drug administration is ideal for all the drug in all the circumstances. So, you have to also look at that lot of criteria to select the route of administration. So, these are factors are very important. Criteria for patient, at the same time is very important, what drug, dose, that is physical, chemical and mechanical characteristics, then only you can select the route of drug administration. You take an example that how do you select the route of administration, like you take an example of status epilepticus, and when patient brought to the emergency, so you have to give quickly to IV, like you have a choice of the drug is diazepam or you have a lorazepam. So, you need a quick action, so you have to give IV. You cannot give it orally, because having the seizure you cannot give it orally, there could be aspiration and you will get a not get immediate effect. So, we have to give it IV. Look at this case, the 5-year-old child brought to the emergency by the father, and history is tonic-clonic seizure, and child still had seizure when it was in a hospital. So, diagnosis was made as status epilepticus. Unfortunately, there is no diazepam in the emergency. Now, what to do that? Because during that time only tablet diazepam was available. Here question comes is, which route of drug administration is best for such condition, and how do you select the dose? Choosing the route of administration. So, if you look at the standard therapy, we give diazepam 10 milligram or 0.2 to 0.5 milligram, 3 milligram per kg body weight intravenously. Since current scenario is that there is no IV is available, so the patient was given the rectal route of administration, and it was preferred because patient is you cannot give it orally, and you want an immediate action also in order to avoid the fast metabolism. So, higher concentration of drug is not able to gain the effect of systemic circulation. So, here you use the route which is rectal route. So, when you compare with different route like intravenous, intraosseous, endotracheal, all intramuscular, subcutaneous, all it has a time effect, how immediate you want that response with the drug. So, you give intravenous, you get the response 30 to 60 seconds, or topical it might be variable, or injection orally it might take 1 hour or 1.5 hours. So, there are some point when you select the route of administration that you need to look at that as per need of the patient, what is the severity of disease, and also clearly mention route of drug administration during the prescription in order to ensure that you ensure that when you use parenteral route, there should be one needle, one syringe, one patient. So, once you use this, you burn the needle, cut the syringe, dispose in biomedical waste system, and also advise the children and adult that inhaler in help in pressure. So, there is a particular standard operating procedure you mentioned, and whatever drug you prepare should be reconstituted for injection as a fresh preparation. So, here one of the case to support that 45-year-old patient is admitted with complaint of acute onset of abdominal pain with fever and vomiting. So, ultrasound was done, it was found to be appendicitis. So, treatment was given as diclofenac sodium, hyoscine or amoxicillin, metronidazole. So, when second day it was found that patient developed a severe anaphylactic reaction. Now, we need to know that why patient developed severe anaphylactic reaction. So, here if you see cross checking, it was found that formulation was prepared before, it was not fresh. So, here the point is whatever drug injectable you give, it should be prepared fresh, before injecting you must check. So, when you talk about what are the point you need to avoid, do not try to give orally if the patient is semi-conscious or unconscious. Do not try to administer the drug in a single vial with multiple patients, and you need to understand that there should be single needle single use and dispose as per biomedical waste disposable. And also do not prefer to delay route of administration in case of emergency, because you need to know that it has to be done immediately to get an effect. And please remember that any controlled preparation or enteric control, do not try to break or sustained release. So here one of the example is 35 years old male with complaint of recurrent seizure, and that patient was given 500 milligram sodium valproate and physician increased the dose to 750 milligram. And it was recommended that give enteric coated in order to help the compliance. So later on it was found that you look at that what are the precaution for physician to patient in above solution. Now here if you see that important point is do not crush the tablet. You can buy, you want to give 750 milligram, buy 500 milligram, buy 250 milligram, but if you break this then it will have a problem. So do not take enteric coated tablet in empty stomach. So this is very important. Another case 45 years old with high blood pressure, and on examination it was found 180 by 110 mm mercury. So he was prescribed nifedipine, then again the control release nifedipine was given. So question here is, explain the rationale of changing the prescription from conventional to control release, and why the frequency is different and drug is better, and is it a different drug. So here if you see the physician repeatedly replaced 20 milligram twice daily in order to help the compliance, but both the drug are different, because when you look at that how the drug is absorbed, slow release nifedipine is higher once a day when you give the dose, but metabolized slowly throughout the period of time. So we need to look at that when you talk about control release. Coming to one of the important point is generic versus branded drug. As you know that when the drug is developed, you give a exclusivity for 20 years. Once the 20 years is complete, anybody can market the drug. So there you call it a generic drug, and till 20 years when a particular company marketed, you call it branded drug. So there is also that same company can continue, we call it ultra generic or pseudo generic. So we have a generic which we found that is affordable. You can take an example of branded drug like bedaquiline for treatment of tuberculosis. So here general comment is that usually you should prefer the generic drug because it is almost a bioequivalent, and also recommendation from Medical Council of India that every physician, as far as prescription of the drug with generic, should be legibly or preferably in capital letters shall be ensured that there is a rational prescription and also use of the drug. So take an example of this case studies. Male patient 50 years with epilepsy. So he was given phenytoin 100 milligram orally thrice daily, then also maintenance to 300 milligram, and patient was advised not to change because these are narrow therapeutic index drug. And question is, can patient switch from generic to branded drug? So here if you see that usually when you market that particular drug is bioequivalent. So usually it is preferred that you do not change, but you also make sure that you should go for a therapeutic drug monitoring. So there is no difference of efficacy when you talk about the drug or generic or branded drug. So one can also be careful about this particular case. So in case of a generic, you prescribe the medicine in generic name, also prescribe the same generic of the drug patient every visit. Please do consider situation that not in general all the generic are affordable. So you have to go practically that how is the cost of the medicine, and also educate the patient in relating to the ADR. Now one has to be very careful that not always to choose the drug with low cost. Rather you correlate with shifting from another, like we taken the example of epilepsy. So also do not assume that all generic drugs are cheaper or affordable. So you have to go practically what is the cost, and also change the brand. You have to be careful when you change the brand, look at the common. Now coming to common error, that error of the dose calculation and also the drug therapy of no drug required, like you take as antibiotic for viral respiratory infection, or selection of local route of emergency situation, or in case of failure to introduce a new drug into practice like inhalation or corticosteroids or spironolactone in heart failure. So one of the case you can see that the patient of child of 7 years, 2 years old child with aphakia, he is having fever and the paracetamol was given. Now, here cause after giving paracetamol also patient was not responding. So, if you go in detail, when you calculate the dose, the child weight was 10 kg. So, appropriate dose of the paracetamol was not given and that is why it was not responding. So, altogether if you see that this is a basic point or route of administration, that medical condition of the patient is a main criteria for selecting appropriate route of administration. So, it is important to know the rate and extension of the absorption of the drug, it is varies in different route. Please keep in mind that effect of digestive condition, like we have a drug food interaction or drug interaction or dietary habit, and also you look at the metabolism of any formulation, and always prefer to use generic as recommended by MCA and government agency over the branded one. So, that you have to do it. So, you have all the references, you can go to the references in detail. Thank you very much, and we acknowledge the RUD members and reviewers. So, thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you are ready with attempting the MCQ, multiple choice question. You can access the MCQ in the assignment section and please submit the answer, and please also complete the prescription evaluation as per the tutorials which you have already been assigned. Thank you very much. Happy learning. Thank you.